What we've got here is failure to communicate.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Common Ground with Jimmy P, the show where we try to bring people with difference of opinion together to not argue, but to voice their opinions and try to come to a common ground where they can understand each other. Because right now we're in a pretty bad time in this country and the world. But tonight we're doing an interview with someone who just went viral on the internet. Her name is Laura Angelo. She went on a Caribbean cruise line to the Bahamas, I believe, a couple of months ago, and they threw her off for testing positive for COVID when she didn't even test positive. Anyway, I'll let Laura this is Laura Angelo right here. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Hi.
And tell us, how did it start? You went on vacation with your friend, and take it from there.
Okay, so my friend and I was, for her birthday, I was taking her on the cruise because I had it. And I booked it for her and I. And the Royal Caribbean called us a week prior to the cruise and asked if we were vaccinated. I said, no, we're not. He says, okay, you need a negative COVID test 72 hours prior to boarding. I said, okay, no problem. I tested a month before, I tested a week before, and I tested within the 72 hours.
Okay.
When we got to the port, I got out of the car. I waited for a wheelchair to come because I wasn't able to do all that walking because I have pending ankle and knee surgery.
Okay, so that's why you needed the wheelchair.
That's why I needed
All
the wheelchair. So I never walked onto the ship until they took us to our room. So the guy comes, puts me in the wheelchair. We go in. I give the person at the gate or whatever, I give him my passport and I give him the negative test.
And your friend does the same.
And my friend does the same.
Okay.
So with that, they give us a purple bracelet, which I wish I would have wore. He gave us a purple bracelet. So I said, oh, is this for non-vaccinated people? He goes, yes, it is. I go, do we need another COVID test? He says, no, you don't. Okay. So he wheels us to the elevator, takes us to wherever we have to go, then hands me off to another person once we get on the ship into another wheelchair, and that person takes us to our
Now,
room.
are they aware of it? Like, does the second guy go, can I see your bracelet?
No, they didn't say anything.
They didn't even ask.
No,
Okay.
no.
Now, is there
no.
a bracelet for non-vaccinated people? I mean, for vaccinated people, not vaccinated, because
Right.
You said you were not vaccinated.
I wasn't.
So,
and
is there one for vaccinated people?
well, the purple bracelet is for the vaccinated, and the non-vaccinated, we found out the next day, they don't get a bracelet. They get nothing. So
they get nothing.
their identification is they have nothing on their wrist, like no wristband. The purple wristband identifies you as vaccinated.
Oh,
so when you're going into certain areas, if you don't have that bracelet on, you can't go.
So it's kind of like the Daniel Hawthorne, the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
You got the big A on your chest.
Right,
You're
exactly.
Okay.
So
that's it.
we go to our room, we freshen up, we go down for dinner. We ask where we have to go. Oh no, I'm lying. We went for a drink. I asked him, I go, oh, where can we get a cocktail? So the guy goes, oh, you have to go there. You have the bracelet on. We go, okay. So we follow all the people that are in there have purple bracelets on. So we're thinking we were all people that were tested negative prior to coming on the cruise ship. I felt comfortable with that.
Okay.
We go have our drink.
So here's one quick, I'm going to be different too much, but so the boat is like segregated.
Yeah, but
You're not intermingling with other people that don't.
No, but here's the thing: we knew prior to going on that there were certain things that we couldn't do. Like one of the main things I wanted to do was they had like a disco night,
Right.
but we knew we couldn't go on. We couldn't go in there because you had to be vaccinated. And it so happens when we went for dinner that night, the room that we were in for dinner turned into the disco night. So I was bummed because I was like, oh, disco. I'm like born in the '60s. I love my disco queen, high hair. And we couldn't go. So we didn't go. So we walked around a little bit, went back to our room. The next morning we wake up, we have breakfast on the balcony, we go down to the pool, we're sitting by the pool, we get pina coladas, we're hanging out, we're having the best time ever, even though it was raining and we were possibly going through a hurricane, but they said it was safe, we were safe, whatever.
Okay.
So we're having fun, and then we go off to the side and we see security like all around us. So we're looking at each other, and my friend goes, Lori,
You have your bracelets on?
yeah, well, no, actually, my bracelet was off because I took it off by the pool. But I thought I left it by the pool, but it was in my bag. So she had hers on, I didn't have mine on because I didn't want to get the white tan line.
So
we see
you're
all this-
attracting attention already, just letting you know.
Well, we
Okay.
see all the security. My friend goes, Lori, there's all security. I'm like, oh, maybe somebody threw their husband overboard and they're looking at us like it was a joke. So then we go to get something to eat, and we get stopped by the elevator. So this lady comes up to us. We find out later she was the head of the guest relations. She goes, are you in room whatever? I said, yes, we are. She said, are you vaccinated? Now there's all other people around us, so I'm like, No, I'm not vaccinated, but you know that because we gave you our. I told you we
You have
weren't
the- you have the
vaccinated.
bracelet on.
She goes, "Oh, you need to come with us." So now we're like, "What?" My friend goes, "Well, what did we do?" And she was like, "Oh, well, we made a mistake, and we have you down as vaccinated, so you need to come down and get another COVID test." So we're like, "Well, we gave you our prior test that you requested from us." So it was blown into. It was. I was
wait.
mortified because it was everybody around us knowing my business.
Why didn't
What?
you ask them, why would I need a COVID test if I gave you
I-
a negative?
I did say that. She says because anybody on the ship that was not vaccinated needed a COVID test aborting. I says, wait a minute. I called the day before and I called 2 days before and I asked, do we need another COVID test once boarding? And we were told, no, you do not. You may need one when you get off the ship coming back, but that depends on how the CDC goes. Right now, the
Okay.
CDC is not requesting you to get COVID to get a COVID test to get off the ship.
Okay,
We
now
complied.
I'm not a lawyer, and you said you have a hard time getting a lawyer.
Oh, my
so if there's
God,
any lawyers
call
out there
me.
that want to pick her up,
I'm not
give her a call.
I'm not looking to make $1 million here. I'm just looking for them to own it.
So here's what I'm trying. From just what you said, like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not that stupid of a man. You just said that you asked them, do I need a COVID test? And they said no.
No.
So now you did ask the question that I just asked when they pulled you over on the side and said you got to get a COVID test. You said, but you didn't ask. I asked, and you said no.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just to play devil's advocate and not taking their side, but you had a purple bracelet on, so they made a mistake.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and
so
they-
they might have looked at that and said, no, you don't need a COVID test. You got the vaccine. So in their defense, and I'm not defending them, in their defense, I understand why they may have done that because you're talking with a lot of different people now. All right, so again, so they get you and your friend, and they pull you over and they tell you you got to get the COVID test, and you ask why.
I said, why? They says because you're not vaccinated. I go, but you know that. I says and then for some reason I got like a very bad feeling in my stomach. I took out my phone and I put it on record. She goes, don't record me. I says, okay, I'm not going to record you. I recorded the air of the sailing. The same thing with my friend. So I have everything on my phone. I have everything on a disc. I have everything. Like
Okay.
every single thing that they said to us, I have on record. Doesn't matter. The point being is that they made a mistake. So they take us downstairs to the belly of the ship, the infirmary. We go down, there's 3 people. We walk out the elevator, they're like surrounding us. I'm like, whoa. I go, what the hell is going on here? Why are they surrounding us? And then I FaceTime my daughter to let her know what's going on because I don't feel comfortable with the situation. But I couldn't get service, so I go to walk away and she's like, where are you? She yelled at us, where are you going? I'm like, first of all, I don't have service. I'm not a child. And where am I going? I'm going to jump ship? I'm in the middle of the ocean. Where am I going?
Okay, so
So then it was almost like an
now they insist that your friend gets tested as well.
Oh yeah. I don't care. You could test me 100. I've been tested so many times. I don't care.
And is this where it started with the little violence?
This is what it started because we were we were resistant at first because we weren't sure like what the hell was going on because we
But
did
they said
every
they made a
single-
mistake.
But they said they made a mistake. Now they won't own up to their mistake. They won't own up to it.
So then why do you have a purple
Okay.
bracelet?
Thank you. And they didn't even ask us for the purple bracelet back either. So which
But
I don't
you
understand
had a
that.
purple
But
bracelet.
they gave us a purple
They gave
bracelet.
it to you. They should have known.
Oh, but
the condition by
I'm
that
reading
point.
online that I stole the purple bracelet, but they gave it to us. Whatever. They could go look on camera. They could do whatever they want to do. They own it. I have it on camera that they said they gave us a purple bracelet by accident.
Okay.
So now we're in the infirmary. They put us in. We're going back and forth. They have to call
You're in the infirmary, in the bottom of the
the
boat.
belly of the boat.
I know.
And people are walking back and forth. It's embarrassing.
So let me just get this straight. So when you get on the boat, if you're not vaccinated, they're going to give you a test when you get on the boat, no matter who you are.
We found that out afterwards. We didn't know that. But I called and I asked because I wanted to listen. Prior to going on, I did my homework. I took pictures of every place that we can and cannot go to. So we knew what we were up against, which was fine.
And you saw all the purple bracelets, so you thought.
We followed the purple. We went into the casino. Not that I gambled, but we walked through the casino. I just wanted to get the feel of the ship. After having dinner, we were having dinner on the level of vaccinated people. We didn't know.
Okay, so
We
now
were
this
supposed
is
to
a
be on
problem.
another level.
This is a problem now, because now, let's say these are all vaccinated people. Well, first of all,
They
let's
were
say,
vaccinated
If
people.
they're
Well,
vaccinated people, they shouldn't be worried about being around someone unvaccinated.
Oh, my
That's just my
God.
point.
Thank you.
But that's for another show. We'll save it. Do you have on your phone, just out of curiosity, do you have when you started to confront them and record?
I do. It's scrambled. I don't know, like the order they're in, but yeah, I do.
Can you pull one up? I just want to show the people what's
Right.
going on. Otherwise, Ron, you want to
I can't. I have 100 videos on
Hold
here
on.
right now that I would have to like.
Yeah, I didn't want to show it because, like I said, I
You
don't
have
know.
you have
You-
of which one do you have?
Hold on.
I mean, of when I did it when we were leaving the ship, when they threw us off in a hurricane. Is that what you're talking
Yes.
about? Oh, I have so
Just
many
the
of them.
video. The video when you start yelling.
You
at
want the
them.
one on Amethyst 216
Yeah,
on my
that's it.
TikTok?
Yeah. That's where I saw you. Actually, that's where I saw her. I saw her on TikTok.
It's ridiculous what they
about
did to
2:30
us.
in the
Then now
morning.
it got like 6 million views. I don't even understand why you got 6 million views.
Because it's funny. That's why I want
Here.
to show the people. Let me see. Brian, can you get
Oh,
it?
wait.
Oh.
I'm shutting it off by accident.
Again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see time here.
You'll be able to hear it. You won't be able to see it. Okay, well,
Well, you have it.
here's the camera. Anyway, we're just...
They wrapped my luggage in freaking saran wrap.
Okay, hold on.
One would be, right? Look, sanitize everything. As if we're really contagious. As if I really have COVID. I had COVID.
I still don't have COVID.
High positive antibodies. I took the test at my doctor's office. High positive. Look,
And who are you talking to right there?
just look. This is
Instagram Live?
Oh, wait, you're not putting me in no ambulance. You're not putting me
An ambulance came for us
In Nassau.
in Nassau.
I'm not going in that. I'm not
No
going
air
in
condition.
unless he comes down here. He's got to sign that paper, and I want a copy of it. Val, Sam, don't take me out yet until he signs the paper. Don't
Hence Karen of the Seas, I can see.
Well, because they weren't listening.
I'm just playing with this video.
No, I mean, it is what it is.
responsible. Put the brakes on right now.
Oh, here it comes.
I'm gonna be in charge of my own fucking life. I'm tired.
Okay, all right. Just so you get an idea. That, and then you can look it up on TikTok yourself. Karen, so now go. Now what happened? At that point, when you start losing it, go ahead.
Oh, so we're skipping ahead. We're not going to talk in between when we were still in the infirmary. I just want to say,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I
tell me.
just want to fill in a little bit of the blank before we got to this point. Fast forward that we're downstairs in the infirmary for 3 hours, and they kept bringing new people in each. Like it's almost like an intimidation. I was waiting for a wet board to come out, and so the director of the ship comes, and I think it was the co-captain or something. Sits down, and I'm telling him, like, just own your mistake. All I want you to do is say, I am so sorry. We made a mistake. We gave you the wrong bracelet. We're going to send you for a massage. Ah! I'm fine. I wouldn't even talk about it. I give me a massage. I'm good. But they didn't do that. So I said to them, you put me around non-tested people. Like, you put me around vaccinated people. No, none of them tested negative for the coronavirus. Only the people that didn't get vaccinated, where they're asymptomatic. So when I go home, if I have COVID, I'm coming after you because you put my life in jeopardy.
But now,
And that's when I knew. When I said that, something inside my gut, I was like,
Well,
ugh.
you said you're gonna
I
sue them.
shouldn't have said that.
Well,
I
here's the-
never said sue. I said I'm going to come after you.
they know what it means.
Whatever. I never said
But
the word.
here's the problem now. They know they screwed up already. They know they screwed up, and you're telling them, you gave me the bracelet, which they shouldn't have did.
So they had to give me a positive test
But
the
that
day
doesn't make
after.
sense to me.
It does make sense if you
Why?
think about it. Because when I said to him,
God, you
if
think-
I
think
get
that-
COVID, because you put me around asymptomatic people that were not tested prior to coming on this cruise ship, when I had a test negative coming on the cruise ship, you put me in jeopardy because now I know I don't have COVID, and the people that I'm around, the non-vaccinated purple people bracelet, thinking that they're all tested negative also. And none of them, they were all vaccinated, so none of them were tested none of them tested negative.
Right, but they're
So my
vaccinated.
point being, I said to them, because you put me around vaccinated people who could have COVID that never tested negative, you put my life in jeopardy. So,
Wait, vaccinated people don't have to get a test 3 days before?
no, oh, now they do. Now if you
But
go
they
on their
didn't- now
web,
are you sure about that?
100%, because why didn't they test us then? If they thought we were vaccinated, why didn't they test us?
Okay, but here's what doesn't make sense to me.
Go ahead. I'll answer any question you got.
This is
Let's
what
get
doesn't
down
make
and dirty
sense.
because I
Get
got
down
nothing
dirty.
to hide here.
Here goes. So they're going to give you a positive test. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible.
Because they had to give me a positive, because the next day, because they had to give me a positive test within 24 hours, so it shows that I came on the ship with a positive. But they didn't know that I had COVID 3 months before. They didn't know that I was tested for my antibodies prior to going on the ship. And they didn't know that I had 3 negative tests before going on the ship. They didn't know I did all that. They just thought I was like a schmo on their freaking ship. They were going to abuse.
Okay, but here's where it doesn't make sense. To say you have COVID after you spent over 36 hours on the boat.
Not even, no. It wasn't even 24 hours.
24,
17
if it
hours.
was 16, 17, you're around vaccinated people, which like I said again, they shouldn't be worried, but now a lot of them are paranoid. Listen, I'm vaccinated, and we'll get into that on another show, but a lot of them are paranoid.
All those people?
What?
Did they quarantine all those people?
This is what I'm getting to. If you have tested positive, they're supposed to quarantine everybody who came into contact.
Well, they knew exactly where we were because supposedly they paged us 5 times over the loudspeakers in the morning, but we were on the balcony. We didn't hear them. They were following us. It was insane.
But what I'm saying is everybody that they came into contact
Well, you know what?
with,
I
you
went
came
on
into contact
I
with.
went on Facebook and I looked up Royal Caribbean Cruise the week that I went away, because if you go on a cruise, you put the cruise line, you put the week you're going away, and there's groups. I have not seen one person on there say that they were quarantined. What was it? Oh, they were protecting us. No, they weren't protecting you. They were covering their asses. Let's
Well,
call a
that's what
spade
they're
a
doing.
spade.
But here's the situation that let's make sense. I don't know why they would say they would start a scare that someone had COVID on that boat.
They wanted us off the cruise ship because I threatened them and said that if I go home and I test if I come home and I test positive, I'm coming after them because they put me around all vaccinated people who were not previously tested negative for a COVID test.
Right, so they could still probably get it. It's possible.
So
There's
after
that
the
1%
whole,
chance.
but
It's
after the
open to
whole
everybody.
thing, after
Okay.
the whole thing, when we were walking away, the doctor, I forgot what her name was, she was walking up my ass like a panty liner, like right up there. So my friend Valerie,
I hate when that happens.
Oh,
It's just-
horrible.
You gotta,
Yeah.
gotta get in there.
my friend turned
Take that
around
baby
and
out.
she says, my friend looked at her and she was like, "What?" And the lady went like this to us, like shoving us off. So my friend goes, "Fuck you." So the lady goes, "What did you say?" She goes, "You heard me."
Oh, so now we're getting
So
a
then
little
I
antsy
said, so I turned to Valerie and I said, I
So-
100% guarantee you we're coming back with a positive COVID test. Lo and behold, 2 hours later, yours truly, Karen the Sea, where she was born, had COVID. Supposedly had COVID.
And what about your friend? What about your friend?
Oh, so my friend, first they told me my friend's test came back with an error. And they
Was
were
the
gonna
swab?
the swab was an error. So instead of coming up and re-swabbing her, they were gonna take the same swab that was an error and they were running it through the system again.
Why would they use the same shit?
And that came back negative.
They would use the same
When
swab.
mine came, but I'm gonna tell you why hers came back negative. Because when she called me back an hour later and said, when she called me up and said her test, they're gonna run it again, and I said, "Oh, I want to do another COVID test." She goes, "Oh, you do?" I go, "Yeah, 100%. I want to do another." She goes, "Oh, that's great. We want you to take another COVID test. We didn't think you would." I went, "Why wouldn't I? Give me another COVID test." She goes, "All right, we're gonna send somebody to your room. Knock yourself out. Bring somebody to your room." But when they come to my room, I'm following them downstairs. And I'm going to watch with my eyes, and I want to watch that test
It's real
come
simple.
back.
They take it and they put it in this little thing.
They do it right on the boat. But
Yeah.
here's the thing.
I had it
Here's
done
the
10
thing.
times already. It's no big
Why did the doctor on the boat give us the COVID test when they have a company that they contract going on the boat and coming off the boat that gives the test? So why didn't the third party give us the test? Why did Royal Caribbean's doctor give us the test? And then why, once I said I wanted to watch the results come in with my own eyes,
They didn't give you the test.
why did she say, "Oh, we can't do that. I'll have to get back to you"? She calls me back. She goes, "Oh, you know what? We don't need. I have that on my phone too. We don't need another COVID test. You're fine. You're negative. You're positive. We're gonna go from that." I went, "No. I want another. Nope.
You're positive.
I'm positive." I go. That's when I said, I go, "Really?" I was laughing. I go, "Did you know I had COVID?" She was like, "What?" I go, "I have a test result right here.
With your antibodies.
I have no. I had a COVID from the state that you go to Glen Island and they give you the tents and the army guys
Yeah.
are there. I says, I have a COVID test April 5th and April 15th. I tested positive. Because first she says, oh, it has to be within 90 days.
You tested positive in April.
Well, because I had it in March.
Okay.
And then I had it, I still had it in April, but they didn't know I had it in March.
Okay.
So I says, okay, well, it's within 90 days. She goes, well, it's actually 91 days, so we're not going to be able to go by that.
Okay.
By one freaking day?
They wanted you off the boat. They saw you a troublemaker. They wanted you off.
They wanted us off the boat because they knew that we weren't their sheeps, and we weren't going to follow along, and we weren't
Right.
going to do what they wanted us to do.
But you see, this is the only thing
I have a brain. You understand? I grew up with my own thoughts. My kids have their own thoughts. I don't tell my kids what political side to be on. That's their choice.
Right.
I don't care if you're vaccinated, if you're non-vaccinated. I don't care what you are. You have a choice. You are your own person, and you make up your own mind. And my choice was, at that time, I chose not to be vaccinated.
Right.
And I chose to go on a cruise, and people are like, you shouldn't have been on a cruise. They
It's a
offered
petri dish. It
but
is.
they offered it to us. If they would have said only vaccinated people could go on the cruise, then you know what? I wouldn't have been on the cruise. But they allowed non-vaccinated people, and I think it was a shove to DeSantis because he said you cannot cruise and isolate non-vaccinated people. So that's what happened.
Oh, it's right. You left out of Florida, so
Left out of Florida.
so they wanted to just take vaccinated people.
They wanted to, but they weren't allowed
They
to.
weren't allowed to. Only out of
So
Florida.
we
or-
were there.
Because that makes more sense. Even though I'm not for that.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that whole thing.
Tell me I can't go. I'll go somewhere else. I'll go to
that's-
freaking Rhode
if they're
Island.
going to do it, then just tell people that are vaccinated. There's going to be unvaccinated people. You shouldn't worry because you're vaccinated.
Yeah.
That's what.
I took my risk going on the cruise. I knew I was taking a risk, but I knew I was going to be around non-vaccinated people
Especially the workers on the boats
that
are
were
from all over the
tested,
world.
that were tested negative. I knew I was going to be around them. That was my point. Then let's move forward where they tell us that I'm positive and I can't take another COVID test. Keith Murphy, the director of the ship, comes up, knocks on the door, put my camera on. He says, here's what we're going to do for you. We're going to give you 100% of what you paid on the, we're going to refund you what you paid.
Oh,
We're
that's
go-
nice.
We're going to give you a,
Ain't that nice?
Yeah, that's
You
good.
don't get to stay, but we'll give you the money.
Ex-nay on the
Thank
evening.
you. Thank
we're
you.
going to give you
Thank you.
100%. We're going to give you 100% what you spent on a future cruise. And tomorrow, we're going to send you out on a medical plane and fly you home. You think you're doing me a fucking favor? You ain't doing me a favor because it was a hurricane. Hurricane Elsa, look it up. What was it? July 7th. July 7th, going up the East Coast was Hurricane Elsa. We flew during a hurricane. And that's why my Karen and me came out. Okay?
Because you had to fly in a private jet.
If I was flying on my own, I would have called JetBlue and I would have said, listen, I'm canceling my flight. There's a hurricane. My life is worth more than getting home.
So you're in a medical plane. Is it a medical plane or?
Medical, trust me, it's not a jet like the Kardashians where they're serving me champagne. It ain't happening. We're in a little cramped up medical plane the medics were very nice, I have to say that, and so were the pilots. But we had to fly to Fort Lauderdale to drop my friends off. And then from there we had to gas up and then fly me to New York. The flight from from Fort Lauderdale to New York was horrific. Like we were bouncing all over the place because he was trying to divert a hurricane that they put my life in jeopardy to get me off the freaking ship. What they should have did was put me in a freaking hotel and isolated me until they thought I was under quarantine. Give me another test.
Now you
They didn't give me
Now
that.
you see why you should get vaccinated.
I think getting vaccinated is people's choice.
Okay. Well, that's the other thing.
Oh,
I want to get to that.
okay, I don't want-
I like I said, I'm vaccinated, but I have a niece that's a doctor, brother that's a pharmacist, another niece that's going to be a doctor next year, and I have very bad lungs from ground zero. So my doctors
I have
and
asthma
everybody,
from ground zero.
So
Volunteered
It's
for
hard.
5 weeks. Ground
It's
zero.
very hard to breathe. And they suggested I get it. Meanwhile, I have the antibodies. I had it. My producer Brian
Still have
had it,
antibodies.
and we all still have it. Brian didn't get the vaccine yet. They told me to get it, and 2 weeks later, when Brian was going, they said, "You know what, Brian, don't get it. Yeah, you still got antibodies." But they told me to get it. So
I have
don't-
high antibodies. I'll say it again, like I said on my video. Go ahead.
She got high antibodies and very
And I still do.
and very low speaking. Very low speaking. She's actually just almost.
I'm very annoyed.
So here's the deal. Like I said, with the COVID, I think people should have the choice to take it. And if you're vaccinated, you're vaccinated. You shouldn't have to worry, even though you can still get it. I did the math. That's for another show. Matter of fact, I'd like to bring you back and go over that. And like I said, if there's a lawyer out there that would like to pick up Laura Angelo's thing, say what you want to say. How do they contact you?
They could contact me. I don't even know how they would contact me. You could, I
What do you got,
guess.
Facebook?
I
I'm not a
have
social media guy.
Facebook, Laura Frankie Angelo. I have Laura Bell, but I'm private. Laura Bell _XO on Instagram, or my TikTok is Amethyst216. But I just want to say one thing.
Okay.
The medics on the plane, they told me that the ship called them and said you have a very sick COVID patient coming on, and she needs to be hooked up to a heart monitor and possible oxygen. When he heard me yelling and screaming as my Karen came out because I felt like my life was in jeopardy, he looked at his partner and he goes, "She don't have COVID." And he told me, "We didn't treat you like a patient. We treated you like a passenger."
And just one other thing. Laura sent me before something where there was a report where she's not the first person this happened to. Am I right?
Well, I'm not the first person this happened to that Royal Caribbean tried to cover up. And as a cover up, when anytime like a news person or somebody contacted them, they said that my friend and I walked on to the cruise ship and we were told to go to another line to go get COVID tested. And we ignored that and we ran off in another direction.
Yeah, but didn't they put
I
you-
never ran off. I was in a freaking wheelchair.
But didn't
They
they-
drove me.
But didn't they put you in a room in a section for?
They put me on a section with all vaccinated people. So
Oh.
I was in room 8322. Anybody who was next to me, whatever. And just for the record, when I came home, I did 3 COVID tests, negative. I did another antibody test, positive with high
High
antibodies. I'll say it again, high antibodies. So
Okay.
go from there.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut it for tonight, and we're going to bring you back in. You want to say something?
I want to say one more thing.
Okay.
I'm going on vacation at the end of the month. I'm not going to say where I'm going to go, but when I come back, I'll tell
Oh, I
you.
got a feeling we're going to know.
Oh, you're going to know.
We're going to.
I'm going to save all the pictures for here.
Are you going to wear a purple bracelet?
I might even wear my purple bracelet. I might even wear a purple shirt.
All right, everybody. Common Ground, Jimmy P, Laura Angelo, welcome. Thank you. And
I'm not
we
a
will
bad
see her
person.
again. She's not a bad person, sweetheart. I actually grew up in my neighborhood, and we're a little excitable.
Excuse me. Correction. He grew up in my neighborhood. I'm older than him. Just
You know,
saying. Because I'm 57, you're 55.
I'm 26.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, everybody, good night. God bless, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Good night.